Hey, thanks for checking out my review of the new Steven Soderbergh movie Logan Lucky. Soderbergh has been directing since the late 80s, making great films like Traffic, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and Contagion, as well as more mainstream fare like Aaron Brockovich and the Ocean's 11 trilogy. In my opinion, he's been quite consistent over the years, never making a terrible movie, at least among the ones I've seen, but also never making anything amazing. Soderbergh's precise cinematography here is right up my alley, with lots of moderately long takes, and there aren't any scenes with quick editing. The cast is excellent, as Channing Tatum collaborates with Soderbergh for the fourth time, having previously been in Side Effects, Magic Mike, and Haywire, and gives an understated performance that avoids cliches and stereotypes. Adam Driver from Girls, Silence, and The Force Awakens is even better as his one-armed bartender brother who helps him execute the heist. However, the standout is clearly Daniel Craig, who goes against his usual cool, suave roles he's usually casted in to play the unstable demolition expert Joe Bang. Craig seems to be having a ball playing this character, and he's the most entertaining to watch. The supporting cast is full of somewhat random choices, like Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, Sebastian Stan, who plays Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies, Katie Holmes as Tatum's ex-wife, and Hilary Swank as an FBI agent. There's a subplot involving Stan as a race car driver and MacFarlane as his wealthy British sponsor, but this plotline doesn't really serve that much of a purpose and isn't that entertaining. There are plenty of quirky characters that sometimes border on ridiculous, but are always fun. Logan Lucky is quite humorous, but isn't what I'd call a pure comedy. The humor is mostly somewhat dry and subtle, and there are a few moments of over-the-top, laugh-out-loud hilarity. It never gets boring, and maintains a fun, lighthearted tone throughout. There aren't many unnecessary scenes, besides the aforementioned Seth MacFarlane subplot, and there isn't much fat on Logan Lucky in its just under 2-hour runtime. Logan Lucky isn't doing so great at the box office so far. It cost a moderate $29 million to make, but it didn't even get second place in its opening weekend, behind The Hitman's Bodyguard and Annabelle Creation. It made just over $8 million in its first weekend in over 3,000 theaters. A lot has been made this summer of Rotten Tomatoes making or breaking films, but that didn't seem to hold true this weekend. Logan Lucky has a stellar 93% approval rating on RT, and has big stars like Channing Tatum and Daniel Craig, yet sputtered at the box office. On the other hand, The Hitman's Bodyguard has only a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, yet opened number one with over $20 million in a relatively slow weekend. This ended up being the lowest opening for a Soderbergh film since 2002's Solaris. I had thought going in that this was a good time to release Logan Lucky, as no major blockbusters have come out recently, and The Dark Tower fizzled, but that clearly didn't help. Soderbergh utilized an unconventional marketing plan for his newest film. He raised money for advertising by selling streaming rights to Amazon, and had complete control over the trailers and ads put out by distributor Bleecker Street Media. Most of the marketing was done right before Logan Lucky came out, as opposed to weeks in advance, like with many big films, and Soderbergh did not test the trailers. Also, the film was financed mainly with foreign pre-sales. It will be interesting to see if the fact that this film isn't raking in tons of money will make other filmmakers wary of a similar strategy in the future. Soderbergh himself was quoted in the New York Times as saying the results were certainly frustrating. In conclusion, I give Logan Lucky a 7.5 out of 10. It will satisfy Soderbergh's fans and there's no major flaws, but it's not an amazing film either. That'll do it for this review. Thank you for listening.